One of the city's most popular street festivals is returning this summer. Taste of the Danforth, and we have a camera live along the Danforth this afternoon. It's coming back this year for the first time since 2019. It was canceled, of course, during the pandemic in 2020 and 2021. And then it was called off last year due to what the local BIA called logistical issues amid a disagreement with the city over the feasibility of removing bike lanes. Taste of the Danforth is typically held the second weekend in August. Of course, it features dozens of food vendors, music, and other attractions, and it typically draws about 1.6 million visitors. Now, the announcement was made yesterday by Danforth area councilor Paula Fletcher, who joins us live in studio this afternoon. Councilor Fletcher, good to see you. This must be so exciting for you.
It is, especially on a gray day here in the winter, to know that in August we'll be back on the street, on the Danforth. Such a great love festival.
So how's it going to happen? Because those bike lanes are there. The parking adjustments and lane adjustments that have been made over the last couple of years have been happening. Has the city and the BIA and all the other local officials involved figured out what they're going to do to sort of make it happen this year that it couldn't last year?
Well, don't forget there's also the Cafe TOs.
And that too.
All the cafes
right.
on the street.
Yes.
So the street has really changed since the pandemic. And to their credit, the Greektown Business Improvement Association has hired an event planner that has done big events in the city and in Ontario, who's going to look at all of that to make sure it's successful. They're calling it reimagining, but getting people back out on the street to hear the music and have their souvlaki is number one.
I mean, it's a feast for all of your senses, right? Taste of the Danforth. But I wonder, Councillor, just how important this is along the Danforth. I mean, it's been a rough several years. And bringing this back, what does this mean? What have you heard already from businesses along there?
Well, everybody is pretty excited about bringing it back, as well as just bringing people back outside. It's a signature festival for the city, actually, for the province. It's just full of cultural, it's music, food, a beer tent, lots going on, stuff for the kids, and it's just a well-loved street. So I think the message is we're back. We're pandemic, rear view mirror, we're back. It'll be reimagined, but it will still be there with all the favorite things that people like to do.
You said reimagine a couple of times now. Do you have a sense of what the reimagined taste will look like? Is there any sort of tease you can give us in terms of how it'll be structured, et cetera?
I wish I could, but that's the role of the event company. And they said, we really want to do this. We've got great ideas. We'll work with the BIA, also the other BIA, Broadview Danforth BIA, because it goes all the way from Broadview to Jones. It's a pretty long festival, and everybody's part of it. So they're going to work with people, get the best ideas, look at the types of music. What would a refresh look like without destroying anything about what's so well loved about this fantastic festival in Toronto.
And I wonder, Councillor, what this also means to the city as well. Like you said, this is a signature event. This isn't just people who live in and around the Danforth area that come to it. People come from the Taste of the Danforth from far and wide to be there and experience that. That brings in a lot of revenue for the city, I can imagine as well. What's the response been like down at City Hall when we've talked about this?
It does bring in a lot of revenue, not as much for the city, but for the businesses on the Danforth. And coming out of the pandemic, anything that we can do to support businesses. This year, they have to pay back the loans that they got for rent from the federal program, and people are quite worried about making it to the end of 2023. So taste has always been a big thing for restaurants and businesses in Greektown and along the Danforth, and you're right, people come from all over to experience that. And I'm not going to presuppose what it looks like. I think the BIA has it well in hand, the city is supporting, and I just can't wait to be there in August and have some of my favorite things.
I'm just hungry just kind of thinking about it. Or maybe it's just lunchtime. Either way, Councillor, I need to ask you just in terms of like, do you know when we may have a sense of what this reimagined taste would look like? Because I think, you know, people are talking about this, just even in the newsroom. As soon as we heard this, it's like, oh my gosh, Taste of the Danforth is coming back.
Yes.
Do you know if there's any sort of time frame that the organizers and BIA have sort of said, you know, by May we'll know, or by April? Is that clear at this point?
I don't think that's clear at this point. You know, it's a very big festival. The street closures, the road closures, all of the logistics for the festival. So I'm going to give them that time, and I'm sure that, I don't want to say you'll be the first to know, but you'll be among the first to know.
We'll be close to it, I'm sure. Well, listen, Councillor Fletcher, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Really excited to talk about Taste, the fact that it's coming back, and we'll get our stomachs ready for that coming up in August. Great to talk to you today. Thank you so much.